Ruby McCollum, the black woman Jim Crow tried to silence. On August 3, 1952, Ruby McCollum walked into the medical office of Dr. Clifford LeRoy Adams in Live Oak, Florida, and shot him 4 times. Adams was not merely a local physician. He was a wealthy, influential white man who had recently been elected to the Florida State Senate. Ruby was a married black woman living under the racial rule of the Jim Crow South. The shooting made national news, but the story behind it threatened to expose far more than a single killing. Born Ruby Jackson on August 31, 1909, she attended Florida's Fessenden Academy and trained to become a teacher. She later married Sam McCollum. The McCollums became one of the wealthiest black families in northern Florida. They owned property and businesses, lived in an impressive home, and drove expensive automobiles. But in 1950s Florida, money did not make a black family equal to white people. Their success existed within a system controlled by white officials, police officers, judges, and businessmen. Ruby would soon learn that wealth offered little protection when a powerful white man claimed authority over a black woman's body. Ruby admitted she killed Adams. The central question was why. Prosecutors claimed the shooting stemmed from an argument over a medical bill. Ruby testified that Adams had repeatedly forced her into a sexual relationship, assaulted her, and fathered her youngest daughter, Loretta. She said she fired in self-defense when Adams attacked her during their final confrontation. Her testimony challenged an unwritten racial practice sometimes described as paramour rights, the assumption that powerful white men could sexually exploit black women without accountability. Ruby was attempting to tell a Jim Crow courtroom that a respected white physician and politician had exercised sexual power over her. The court did not allow her to tell the full story. A courtroom built against her, Ruby's trial began in November 1952 before an all-white, all-male jury. Some jurors had been patients of Dr. Adams. Judge Hal W. Adams, who was not related to the doctor, had served as an honorary pallbearer at Dr. Adams's funeral. The judge restricted testimony about Ruby's relationship with Adams. Her defense was prevented from fully presenting evidence of alleged abuse, coercion, and the paternity of her child. The judge also placed Ruby under a gag order, preventing reporters from interviewing her directly. The courtroom allowed the state to describe the killing, but it severely limited Ruby's ability to explain the circumstances surrounding it. Author and anthropologist Zora Neale Hurston covered the trial for the Pittsburgh Courier. The courtroom was segregated. Hurston was forced to sit in the upstairs gallery. Her reporting helped carry Ruby's story beyond Florida, making the case a national and international controversy. Hurston understood that this was more than a murder trial. It was a confrontation involving race, sexual power, wealth, gender, and the systematic silencing of a black woman. On December 20, 1952, Ruby McCollum was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to die in Florida's electric chair. She had been judged by an all-white jury in a courtroom that would not permit her defense to reveal the full history she claimed led to the shooting. Ruby appealed. In 1954, the Florida Supreme Court overturned her conviction because she had been improperly excluded from the jury's inspection of the crime scene. The decision granted her a new trial, but did not resolve the larger questions surrounding the killing. Before that second trial could proceed, Ruby was declared mentally incompetent and committed to the Florida State Hospital in Chattahoochee, institutionalized for approximately 20 years. Freedom came decades later. Attorney Frank Cannon secured Ruby's release in 1974 after determining that she was not a danger to herself or others. By then, much of her life had been taken from her. She spent her remaining years away from the public attention that once surrounded her case. She died of a stroke on May 23, 1992, at age 82. Her story remained clouded by courtroom restrictions, conflicting accounts, and decades of silence.
Ruby McCollum's case cannot be reduced to the shooting of one man. It forces America to confront the position of black women under Jim Crow. The court heard Ruby say that a powerful white man had forced himself on her and fathered her child. Yet the system restricted her testimony, condemned her before an all-white jury, and attempted to control what the public could learn. Ruby was neither given a full opportunity to tell her story, nor allowed to control how others told it. Her case represents generations of black women whose abuse was ignored because acknowledging it would expose the violence hidden beneath white respectability. Ruby McCollum fired the gun, but Jim Crow placed her in a courtroom where only part of her truth was permitted to live.